In the top stories, 15 immigrants in custody after dinghy docks at Gallows Bay. First female commissioner of police appointed in Trinidad and Tobago, and powerful quake rocks Turkey and Syria, killing more than 1,300. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Monday, the 6th of February 2023. I'm Jason Davis. Nationally, the police have taken 15 persons into custody following a report made about a boat coming ashore at Gallows Bay, Nevis. The report was received on February 3 at about 6 in the evening. The information given also stated that 2 men came out of the boat and were walking towards Bath Village. Officers from the police force and the St. Kitts and Nevis Customs and Excise Department responded. The 2 men were found in Bath Village and were stopped and questioned. It was revealed that the men were nationals of Dominica and Haiti. It was also revealed that they arrived on a motor vessel that was anchored off the coast in the Gallows Bay area. They made their way to the shore using a dinghy. Officers accompanied the men to the vessel, where they found 13 nationals of Haiti, 10 adults and 3 juveniles on board. They were also detained by the police pending further investigations. In other police news, the police have charged a man in connection with a traffic accident in which a pedestrian was injured. According to a police release, sometime after 8 p.m. on the 1st of February, the police responded to a report of a traffic accident along the F.T. Williams Highway. The accident involved SUV P4482, which is owned by Alicia Decent Hendrickson of Basse-Terre, but was being driven by Ian Bolus of Station Street, Old Road, and pedestrian Nigel Brown of St. Johnson Avenue. According to the police, Bolus was traveling west and Brown was crossing the street when the collision occurred. Brown was transported to the JNF General Hospital via emergency medical services, where he was treated for his injuries. He suffered a fractured knee and multiple bruises about the body. During their investigations, the police found Bolus to have committed the offenses of driving without insurance and driving without a valid and unexpired driver's license, for which he was charged on the 2nd of February. In other news, in a statement to mark the opening of School Counselors Week, Minister of Education, the Honorable Dr. Jeffrey Hanley, thanked the school's Guidance Counseling Department for the significant role it plays in creating an environment which fosters the comprehensive growth of students.
Our guidance counselors have taken the time to care and devote their time, resources, and diligent effort to foster the holistic development of our students. They have served diligently over the many years, developing strong pillars for our students to overcome challenges and to dare to dream big.
He also spoke on the nature of work being done by the school's counseling department.
Guidance counselors have gone above and beyond the call of duty to deliver preventative, interventive, and supportive services to our students, parents, teachers, and the community in which they serve. They have developed varied programs to meet the personal, social, academic, and career needs of our students, teachers, and parents. Through individual and group counseling, mentorship programs, life skill programs, career development services, academic development services, workshops, seminars, volunteer programs, with limited resources and in countless other ways, they continue to serve.
Under the theme, School Counselors, Helping Students Dream Big, during the week Monday, 6th of February to Friday, February 10. Moving now to news on the regional scene. In Trinidad and Tobago, Erla Harewood Christopher has been confirmed as the country's next Commissioner of Police following a unanimous vote in the House of Representatives on Friday. More in this TTT News report.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley led the motion to approve this country's first female Commissioner of Police, saying government was not surprised that she was at the top of the merit list from the Police Service Commission.
That this officer is highly qualified and very experienced, and therefore we are not entirely surprised that she would have found favor with the Service Commission, who would have listed her as the top applicant.
Dr. Rowley, though, pointed out that an issue arose since Ms. Christopher was due to retire from the police service in May after turning 60 years of age. But he noted that there is a workaround in the law which allows for an extension of 1 year in the first instance, and following a review, it could be further extended for another 2 years.
The imminent fact of the retirement of Mrs. Harewood Christopher as a 1st Division police officer by the operation of Section 74(2) of the Police Service Act neither impacts nor disqualifies her nomination, nor indeed the House voting to affirm that nomination for her appointment.
Opposition MP Dr. Rudal Munilal said the opposition had no issue with her qualifications, noting that they did support her appointment as acting police commissioner in December. But he said as police commissioner, she would have an uphill task due to the crime and criminality facing the country.
I think there's a song, every move you make, every step you take. We'll be watching every move, every step, and we reserve the right to be critical, to scrutinize the work of the executive.
Ms. Christopher, who has been acting as Commissioner of Police since December, received 36 votes for her appointment in the lower house, with no one voting against and no abstentions. Sonolala, TTT News.
The new UNICEF representative to Grenada and the Eastern Caribbean, Pietro Bult, has presented his letter of appointment to Minister for Foreign Affairs, Trade and Export Development, Joseph Andal. More in this GBN News report.
Mr. Pietro Bult, who is based in Barbados, began his appointment as the United Nations Children Fund representative for the Eastern Caribbean in August 2022. He serves 12 countries, the 8 Eastern Caribbean states, as well as Barbados, the British Virgin Islands, Trinidad and Tobago, and the Turks and Caicos Islands. Earlier this week, the new UNICEF representative to Grenada and the Eastern Caribbean presented his letter of appointment to Foreign Affairs Minister Joseph Andal. Mr. Andal conveyed Grenada's gratitude for the assistance and support given to schools, including the provision of tablets to students during the COVID-19 pandemic. He also conveyed gratitude for the advice and advocacy provided, the inclusion of children during the climate change negotiation. UNICEF influenced, lobbied, and advocated for the inclusion of children and youth as a specific group in major climate change policies, such as the Nationally Determined Contribution, the NDCs. As a result, Grenada and St. Lucia included children and youth in their revised NDCs. UNICEF also assisted the Spotlight Initiative, which works on alleviating family violence and violence against women and girls. This initiative operates through small grants, assistance from the European Union. Grenada was praised by Mr. Bult for its high school enrollment rate, and he pledged to focus on alleviation of children on the brink of poverty and on early childhood intervention where social workers can be trained. He said a model will be developed for Grenada based on what already exists in the country. Mr. Bult will visit early childhood schools while in Grenada. Christina John, GBN News.
Internationally, a powerful 7.8 magnitude earthquake rocked southeastern Turkey and northern Syria early Monday, toppling hundreds of buildings and killing more than 1,300 people. More in this France 24 report.
People were sleeping as the pre-dawn quake hit. It measured 7.8 on the Richter scale. Buildings were flattened as a series of strong aftershocks continued. Rescue workers and residents in several cities searched for survivors doing what they could.
People are trapped. I have a friend living here. His children were rescued from the top floor. His daughter had a broken arm. We'll see what happened to those living on lower floors.
I was sleeping when my wife suddenly woke me up. The quake was really severe, very scary. We heard sounds from all over the place. It took almost 2 minutes until the shaking stopped.
The building here in one town collapsed in a matter of seconds in what is feared could be one of Turkey's worst earthquakes. The government has declared a state of emergency and called for international assistance.
All our governors are now on duty. Gendarmerie, security forces, Turkish armed forces, disaster and emergency teams, Red Crescent teams, and search and rescue teams from all over Turkey have been dispatched to the relevant regions.
While the epicenter of the quake was in southeastern Turkey, tremors were felt in Lebanon, Cyprus, Israel, and even as far away as Cairo. Buildings were reported collapsed in a cross-border area extending 200 miles from Diyarbakir in Turkey to the Syrian provinces of Aleppo, Hama, and Latakia. The opposition's civil defense described the situation in opposition-held areas as disastrous. The region sits on top of major fault lines and is frequently shaken by earthquakes. Around 18,000 people were killed in powerful quakes that hit northwest Turkey in 1999.
The United States military has shot down what it claims was a high-altitude Chinese spy balloon over the Atlantic Ocean. Al Jazeera's Patty Culhane reports.
A loud and very public end to a story the American people watched unfold for days. A high-altitude balloon crossing the country, which the U.S. military said was China's attempt to spy on the U.S. It was shot down Saturday when an F-22 fighter jet launched a single missile, the balloon and equipment plunging into the Atlantic Ocean. Now, as the U.S. Navy works to retrieve the debris, a growing criticism in Washington that the balloon got that far.
The president was paralyzed for an entire week by a balloon. We should have shot this balloon down over the Aleutian Islands. We should never have allowed it to transit the entire continental United States.
It doesn't seem like the president knew about the balloon then. According to Pentagon officials, it was first picked up off the coast of Alaska on Saturday, January 28th, transiting through Canada and then entering through northern Idaho and onto Montana on the 28th, the following Tuesday. That was the day that the White House says President Joe Biden was first informed. He gave the order to shoot it down Wednesday. The military says it wasn't safe to do it over land, so they waited until it reached the coast.
We sent a clear message to China that this is not acceptable. We protected civilians. We gained more intelligence while protecting our own sensitive information.
We believe this week the Gang of Eight is going to be briefed on the incident. That's the leadership of the intelligence committees and of the House and the Senate, both Democrats and Republicans. The following week, on February 15th, we believe the entire Senate is going to get a classified briefing, meaning this controversy and these criticisms are unlikely to end anytime soon. Patty Culhane, Al Jazeera, Washington.
And now for the weather. Present weather is fair skies. The temperature for today is 28 degrees Celsius or 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are a moderate breeze of 17 miles per hour from an east-northeasterly direction. Seas are moderate with waves of 5 to 8 feet with swells. Therefore, a high surf advisory is in effect. Weather forecast for today will be partly cloudy with a 50% or moderate chance of showers. Tonight will be fair to mostly cloudy with a 60% or a moderate chance of showers. Sunset today will be at 6:09 p.m., sunrise tomorrow at 6:41 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Jason Davis.